What is going on, guys? It's Justin from the J Media, back with another video. So today we are back with more S2000 content. So I know it doesn't look like much on camera, but the S2000 has been sitting here in the garage for about 2 weeks now, and here's why. So about 2 weeks back, it was my birthday party, and pretty much drove this car for dinner at the Domain. Everything was fine, drove it for the whole weekend. But then the car decided to not start on the way home. So it doesn't even want to start at all. Battery's still good. Let's try it out. I tried it one more time. So key on, clutch in. Doesn't start at all. So I'm guessing it's a starter. Some people say it might be the starter ignition switch. So yeah, let's see. I saw this video on YouTube, which is a quick fix. We'll try that out first. You don't need any tools. It's basically this little switch that's connected to the starter. Just wiggle it, make sure it's in and not loose. So let's try that first. Okay. Pop the hood. Really miss driving the S2000. It's been 2 weeks. So let's get to hopefully getting her running. So on the S2000, the starter is pretty conveniently located. So it's right here by the alternator, right towards the back of it. And this little switch I'm talking about, if you look right here where the throttle body is, alternator's down there. This little guy, this little switch, this little rubber cap. Just want to make sure it's nice and snug. So yeah, alternator, starter is right over here. So there's this rubber cap. Sometimes it gets loose, just to make sure it's nice and snug, not falling off. Let's try to start it again, see if it works. Alright, so try to start it, no luck at all. So probably means we need to replace the starter. So first things first, remove your intake. Remove this whole piece right here, and then once you remove this piece, you got to take off the alternator next, and then the starter. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. Alright, first things first, let's go ahead and remove the intake. Alright, so now that we pretty much have the intake out of the way, you have the alternator over here. You want to remove your... Go ahead and disconnect the battery first because dealing with electrical stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, next thing you want to do is remove the alternator. So you pretty much want to feed a 14mm wrench right here. This is the pulley that pretty much controls it, so you can loosen this belt. So you want to loosen the belt. Again, that's this one right here. And then you can get the alternator off by removing the bolts. Alright, so now that you have the belt off the alternator, you can remove the alternator itself. There's one bolt right here marked in red. There's another one right here on the bottom. Both are 14mm. So again, one here and one like right here. So go ahead and remove them, and you should be able to slide the alternator out. Alright, so you went ahead and loosen this bolt right here, as well as this other bolt here on the bottom. So just gotta take it out. And before you move the alternator, on the back there's also two plugs. So right here you will see there's this little rubber guy right here. It's a rubber cap.
So pretty much what this, so on the back of the alternator, there's two things you gotta remove. There's this little black rubber cap looking thing. You wanna remove that. You'll expose a 12mm nut that you have to remove. And there's also this clip, this blue clip, which is a push clip that you have to remove. So two things you have to remove on the back before you can pull out the alternator. Alright, so got the alternator out. Alright, so with the alternator out of the way, you have more space. So starter is back here. It's kind of hard to see. But there are two bolts holding it in place. A top starter bolt and a bottom starter bolt. The top one is marked in red. There's also two little rubber clips, like a rubber cap. So let me go ahead and remove that. So one of the rubber cap has a 12mm bolt. So right here. 12mm bolt, you want to make sure to loosen it. The other one is a nice little clip, so you can use a nice needle nose pliers. Gonna help you remove it. Alright, so here's a better view of the starter, and if you see that nut right there, that is that nut you have to remove. I removed the plastic cap so you're able to see it, and then you have the other one as well that you have to remove. So both are right over here. Alright, so I just went ahead and unclipped that little clip right here on the starter, as well as this, remove the cap. So like I said, it's a 12mm bolt. You want to feed it with a really long extension. So here's my ratchet, feeding it with a super long extension and a swivel, and I'm just trying to loosen it. Alright, 12mm bolt is out. Just to give you a rough idea, this is what I use. If you have a super long extension that works, I just connected a bunch of extensions. At the end I have a swivel with a 12mm. So yeah, just that, 12mm nut. Two connectors, kind of like on the alternator. You remove this guy right here. This is the power. And then I removed the other one, which is a clip, which I use a needle nose pliers to do. Right now all that's left is removing both bolts holding the starter in place. So to be honest, it's kind of like the alternator where two bolts holding it in place and two clips. Alright, so next what you want to do is remove the two bolts. Top starter bolt and bottom, both are 14mm. Again, you need a super long extension to get it off. Alright, so finally got the starter out. So let me show you guys. Like I said, the two clips you gotta remove. One is this little clip right here. Right here. That's why I use the needle nose pliers to remove. This one is a 12mm nut. Remove. That's your top bolt, 14mm. Right here is the bottom bolt. And some people say jack up the car to get it off. You can to remove the bottom bolt. I didn't jack it up at all. I was able to feed this long extension and pretty much just get it loose. So what I did was I connected it to a 1/2" ratchet and used this as a breaker bar, so you get some leverage and break it loose. So yeah, everything's out. All that's left to do is pretty much go to the auto parts store, pick up new starter, and put everything back together. Alright, so I just went to AutoZone, pick up a starter. So I called so many shops. I literally called the Honda dealership. They were trying to charge for a brand new OEM one $1,000 just for the part, excluding install. And then if you were to get like a refurbished one, it's $500 for the part. Still expensive, takes about a week. I called Advanced Auto, O'Reilly's, AutoZone. I called so many stores. Finally, I found one location with just one left for the S2000. So grabbed it, traded in my core. So anyways, picked it up. I'm back. And I also managed to grab this huge 18-inch extension for 3/8 because I had so many connections. Not a fan of that, so longer extension. So yeah, let's go ahead and throw everything back in. And again, just want to show you guys. So I'm gonna feed this starter through. So 2 volts, 1 and 2. And then over here you have this little nut, 12 mil nut. Feed the power wire in, tighten it, put that rubber cap back on. This one has another cap, rubber cap that clips into this clip. Yeah, pretty much. Alright, we have the solder ore in. Right now we're just gonna put the alternator back. So just like how it came out, gonna squeeze it back. And mine's a little bit hotter because I have this ASM X brace. If you guys don't have it, feeds right through. And just like the starter, you have your two bolts connecting it, top and bottom, one long, one short. I think they're 14 mil if I remember correctly. And then one clip and one more of that power here with that nut. And yeah, alternator will be back on. Alright, alternator is back in place, two bolts back in. We have the clip as well as the power cable back on. Also went ahead and put the cable, this back on the belt. So yeah, like I said, I have this crossbar, so it makes it a bitch to put in, but let's go ahead and put back the intake as well as plug in the battery and moment of truth, start up the car. Alright, moment of truth. We have the battery plugged in, intake back in place, belts on, alternator on, as well as this new starter. So let's go ahead and fire it up for the first time. Fingers crossed, hopefully everything fires up. Gonna go ahead and start up the car. Starts right up.
Alright, so new starters in the car. I also went ahead and replaced the battery. I picked up Ultima battery off camera since the battery it's not very strong. It's been a couple years and I got the car, I haven't changed that out, so might as well swap it out to a better battery. If you guys stay to the end, make sure to leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you guys in the next one.